Hi, I am Dr. Vanessa, and this is our podcast called Under the Fur, where we're going to discuss all things veterinary on the inside and the outside, and things to do with your pets. And on that note, I would love to introduce my very dear friend who was a client of mine, Mel, who had two lovely dogs that I was very, very fortunate to meet and that she trusted me with. And we're going to be discussing a little bit about their journey and what it took to look after them. But first of all, Mel, you have such a fascinating history and your life stories that you've told us, and that's part of what bonded us. Give us a little introduction.
So I am Melanie, shortened to Mel, and my career was I was a backing singer in the 80s and the 90s, and I worked with lots of very famous people, as you know, because we've discussed it. People like Duran Duran and Dolly Parton, Sting, Chris Rea, Bill Wyman, Boy George, Bob Geldof. Sorry, clear my throat. And I toured around the world and had a fabulous time and made a load of money and went in limousines and first class travel everywhere and just had the best time. And then I got pregnant and had children and it all changed.
And that ended it.
Well, kind of
No more
ended
first
it.
class.
Yeah, no more first class, lots of breastfeeding.
Yeah.
It kind of ended it because a lot of my job was actually going away touring. And while I was pregnant with my first child, I used to say to my mum, this baby's not going to change my life, and I'm give the baby to you, and I'm going off around the
We've all
world.
been there.
And then I gave birth to the baby and looked at the baby and was like, I can't leave you.
Yeah.
And so it did change things. So I then was restricted to doing stuff in London, TV shows and recordings, and very sort of short jaunts to Europe for a couple of days and then come back. And then I had a tonsillectomy and that ruined my voice and I had to give up. And that's why I stopped singing. And then I actually quit and became a trader on the stock market randomly for a couple of years. Which
I
was,
didn't know that.
Yes.
How boring.
Really boring. Really boring. But I actually went in as I had secretarial skills. So I went in as a PA.
Yes.
And I ended up trading. I don't quite know how it all happened. And then 911 happened. And I was in the room with a bunch of traders and they were all making millions of pounds over the first tower going down. And being a bit of a hippie, I was like, oh my God, I can't trade over this. And they were going, trade, trade, trade. And I couldn't. And then the second tower got hit and then they all were like, you need to trade over this. You're going to make millions. And I literally just picked up my bag and was like, you've got blood on your hands. I can't do this. And I walked out. And I went to the school very tearful, very frightened, wasn't sure what was going to happen. Was this the beginning of the end of the world? And I bumped into a friend of mine who was in the music industry, a producer, and was obviously really upset. And he asked me what was wrong. And I said that I just walked out of my job and I didn't know how I was going to pay for my kids' upbringing. And he said, oh, I've got a job in my music company. Do you want to come and run it? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I'd never done that either. And I thought, yeah, I can do it. And that was 2001, obviously. And I've been doing that ever since. So I manage songwriters and producers and I go into record companies and try and get songs on records and help develop artists. And that's what I do. And the children that I gave birth to all that time ago also do it now themselves. So that we're all in the same industry, which is wonderful. And that's kind of where I'm at today. And then obviously I met you from being a dog mum.
Yes. I was going to say, so your first mum was an actual child, first mum to an actual child.
Yeah.
And then later came, did you always love animals?
I always grew up with dogs. I always had dogs in my family and cats. And actually the first pet I ever had was a monkey when I was about 4.
No.
My mum bought a monkey, a spider monkey in the 60s. And we used to walk it up and down Putney High Street with its little like two-piece on. But then it kept peeing down the back of the telly and blowing up the telly. So my dad made us get rid of it and send it to...
That was the last straw.
No more monkeys in our house.
Monkeys.
But we've had all sorts of animals, but mainly dogs. And so I was brought up with dogs. And once the kids had grown up, I really missed that nurturing, having to look after something. And I'd already had a rescue dog way before that had died, a girl called Chevy, who was 13, a lab cross. And for 6 years, I didn't have a dog because it was so painful losing her. And then I talked my partner at the time into, let's get another rescue dog, and went and got Wilson, my boy collie, who I lost last May. And then 6 years after getting him, the rescue place phoned me up and said, we've got this female and she needs you. And because Wilson had had lots of surgeries by this point, had both of his hips replaced, she knew that I would invest. And I think she knew that Harper, the girl that I ended up getting, had issues. And so she was doing the right thing as a rescue person by going, who will invest in this dog and pay for surgeries and nurture it? And so I ended up with Harper, not knowing she needed surgeries at the time, and brought her home, fell in love with her. And I lost her in November, as you know, this year, because you helped me to put her to sleep very beautifully. And yeah, so I had these two collies. And for the first few years, all was hunky-dory. And then that's when I met you, when Harper went downhill.
Yeah.
Wilson's surgeries had already been done.
Yeah.
And then I met you. I was recommended to you by my vet at the time and came to see you and just
Oh.
and that was it. We were in. And then we became firm friends from that, because I think that was like over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about those 2 years. But I want to know actually the bits that happened before you met me, which you've told me some bits of, but you rescued Wilson, and Wilson was, how old was Wilson when you rescued
Wilson
him?
was 3 months when I rescued
So he was
him.
3 months from a puppy.
He was a puppy.
And then he ended up having, as I recall, hip dysplasia.
Yeah, in both hips.
And he had did he have 2 hip replacements?
Both hip replacements.
Both hip replacements. He then had a spinal issue.
Yeah, I had spine surgery.
Yes. And was that a disc?
That was where it was compressing. So he
Stenosis?
Yeah, so he was losing the use of his back. I don't know what the official
so
term
he has a
is.
compression on his spine, which meant that the signals from his brain were not getting to his legs, and he was walking like he was drunk.
Yes.
Does that sound about right?
That's about right.
Yes. Yeah. And so had he already had his hips done by then?
He had the hips done by then.
So 2 hip surgeries, major surgery, major aftercare.
Yes.
And then a spinal surgery,
which was the hardest one of all. And then he had cruciate ligament, but that was actually easy in comparison.
Walk in the park compared to what he had.
Absolutely.
Yes. So bionic hips, new knees.
Yeah.
And a bit of his spine chopped out.
And a bit of his spine chopped out, yeah.
That's horrendous.
And he was, it's hard with a collie because they need to be stimulated, as you know, and trying to keep him entertained while he was in a crate, and all the care that it took. I mean, it was so out of my comfort zone to be doing anything like this, because, I'm used to traveling around the world and being looked after. I'm not used to that level of nurturing. It was a whole different...
And you're now stuck at home, aren't you?
Stuck at home with him, and just the backwards and forwards and the rehab and the physio and all the different things we had to do, the hydro, just to get him back on track. But he did get back on track, as you know, and he lived till he was 13 and a half. So, he did really well.
And then his kidneys got him.
In the end.
But the good thing is, that's an old age disease.
Yeah.
So he got to old age.
Yes.
So that's 5 surgeries.
Yes.
5 major surgeries that you nursed him through.
Yeah.
And so we've touched on it a little bit. You're stuck at home.
Yeah.
You can't walk him in the park.
No.
And lot of the joyful things that you get from being a pet owner are your daily walks, being able to watch them run off the lead. Richmond Park, isn't it?
Yeah.
Off the lead and play with other dogs and interact. And then suddenly you're actually isolating that dog.
Yeah.
Crate rest.
Great rest.
Crate rest.
Harness.
No walks.
No.
Physiotherapy.
Yeah.
At least weekly, I imagine.
Yeah, I think it was twice a week.
If not twice a week.
Yeah.
Hydrotherapy.
Yeah. He did it all.
The drugs.
Oh, God, cost of the drugs.
The cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to the cost in a second.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? 3 times a day? Pain relief and other medications?
Yes. Morning, afternoon, and evening.
Yeah.
Also changing food because he couldn't exercise, so keeping his weight down. So that was hard, because obviously you want to entertain them by giving them. So I bought licky mats to try and kind of keep them entertained, but I had to put low fat stuff in. It was just, there was a lot of thought that goes into it, because you love them so much. You don't want them to think, Christ, what's happened to me? Like, is my life over? And actually, he loved playing frisbee and football. So all the twisting and turning stuff, he couldn't do that. And when he could eventually do it again, we had to keep it really low level. And quite close. There was no sort of thrusting a frisbee for 50 feet and watching him run and jump 4 feet in the air. All of that completely changed.
Was it fair on him?
Yes, I think it was, because we discovered when he was really young about the hips. He was only like a year and a half old when we discovered about the hips, and it was either put him to sleep or do this. And obviously we've completely fallen in love with him. We had insurance. I mean, the other thing, we should touch on insurance, because I did a different insurance with Harper as a result of getting stuffed with his, because when we did the
Really?
first hip, that was obviously covered on insurance.
Yes.
When it came to the second hip and we went to claim on insurance, it was a pre-existing condition. And so the insurance didn't cover that.
So they didn't cover the other hip.
No. And then also what happened when he had the spine surgery, when we were investigating the hips in the beginning and we took him in, they did some investigating and found out he had a little spinal issue when he was a puppy. So they gave him some injections. So when I went to pay for the spine surgery, which was a lot more money, that was classed as a pre-existing condition.
No.
Yeah, so I actually had to do a GoFundMe to get the money.
So you had been paying for this pet insurance all his life and they weren't covering anything?
No, they covered one hip out of those 3 major surgeries. They covered one of the surgeries, and then I had to find the money for the other 2. So I think the second hip was about 6,500, and the spine surgery was about 10,000. And of course, in the place that I went to, it's like, you don't pay now, we don't operate on your dog.
Absolutely.
And I was freaking out because I knew he was in pain. So with the spine surgery, I had to find 10 grand within a week.
No one has 10 grand in their back pocket.
No, they don't.
I certainly couldn't find 10 grand this week if somebody needed it.
So I did a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And luckily, because I work in the music industry and I know some quite well-known people, I had some quite big donations. So I got the 10 grand
Thank you,
together.
History, for allowing me these contacts.
Thank you, pop stars.
Hey, if you traded on the on the Twin Towers going down, you would have been able to pay for it.
I'm going to pay for everyone's surgery for all their dogs for the rest of their lives. So that was tough, but we managed to make it work. I think between him and Harper, I spent over 100 grand in surgeries, and I think insurance covered maybe 60, 70 grand of that, and then we had to find the rest.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Let's put it this way, I didn't have I haven't had holidays for many, many years as a result, because I just couldn't afford to.
Yeah, yeah. And I know when we met, you actually couldn't leave Harper with anyone.
Couldn't leave either of them because they were both really needy and they needed this special care.
Such intensive. So then we met when Harper needed surgeries, and you decided to come. So just to explain, my clinic is not specialist, but it sort of bridges the gap between general practice and specialist, in that there's particular surgeries that I can do that I'm experienced with, and I have a certificate of advanced veterinary practice, which is in surgery. But there's a next level up, which is a specialist who have a diploma and are 5 times my costs.
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons, actually, I came to you, because the place where I had Wilson surgeries done was very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And then when I saw my vet and she said, you need to go to the vet station, and actually her prices are really reasonable in comparison. And that was one of the factors, because I'd spent so much on Wilson.
Yeah.
I just thought, Christ, I can't go through this again.
You can't keep paying. Where's the money going to come from? Absolutely.
Yeah. But when I did her insurance, because of being stuffed on the pre-existing condition small print, I then had Harper's became £7,000 a year, covered her for everything.
Yeah.
So I pray that was going to cover me, which it did for the large part.
Yeah.
As you know.
But it wouldn't have.
No.
Had you gone elsewhere. Because that's the other thing, isn't it? You think you've got this massive pot of money, but when it ends up that you need to go for referrals, and things like CT scans are involved, and
medication.
Yes, and medications. And I just looked at buying a CT scan. Do you know how much they cost?
No.
The cheapest one I found is £150,000. Insane.
And how do you make your money back on that?
By charging this much, but unfortunately people don't have that money. So that's a difference. But there were certain things that we could do at the vet station that we can do without CT scan. We could use x-rays and that kind of thing. So the surgery that Harper needed was a tarsal arthrodesis. So we needed to fuse her ankle joint because the ligaments they had given up, hadn't they?
Yeah.
They were out of there. They were doing nothing. She was walking completely plantigrade, which basically is when her hocks are completely on the floor.
And that was heartbreaking for me to see.
I remember how upset you were by that. You're like, she can't move, she wants to. And I said to you, this is a highly complicated surgery in that it's got something like a 50% complication rate.
Yeah.
But we can try.
And we did.
We did
try.
And we did both sides.
We did.
Neither side went smoothly,
No.
because what we discovered was
It's
Harper is terrible at healing.
terrible. Way worse than
Terrible.
Wilson.
I think she's the worst tarsal arthrodesis I have ever done.
And the skin.
And her skin does not heal.
No.
It does not heal.
No.
And she had wounds popping up
Oh.
everywhere. We put plates on, we took plates off,
Bones popping
we
through
put them
skin.
back on again.
Oh, God. It was just... I'd say her surgeries were way harder than Wilson's because he healed well.
Yeah.
She just didn't heal well, as you know. And it was just heartbreaking to see. But by that point, I'm already in the process.
Yes.
And you can't go, well, okay, we're going to give up because it's not working. You think we've got to keep trying until I kept saying to you for these 2 years, you tell me when it's time if it's not working.
Yeah.
But all the time that you're saying it's okay, we need to keep going, we'll keep going, we'll do. And I put myself on way down the pecking order on the back burner because she was so loved and so wanted. And she was a special dog, as you know. But in the end, those eyes killed you, boring to your soul.
Yeah.
But in the end, when I brought her to you thinking it was for an x-ray because she wasn't weight bearing on one of her legs after 2 years of surgery, you just said, it's not worked. And we can either do this all over again, but she won't heal, or you do what you have to do and let her go. And that was the hardest thing, especially because by this point I wasn't with my partner anymore and I was doing this on my own.
You were,
And just to walk out of there because she was obviously in a buggy, as you know, to walk out with that buggy without her in it. I sat in that car park and I howled for about an hour. I couldn't drive. I was so upset. I just couldn't drive. And then I got home and all her dog beds, because I had dog beds in every room for her. I even bought a bungalow so that she didn't have to do stairs. I had a mattress on the floor so she could sleep in my bed. I changed my whole life, where I lived for her because I loved her that much.
Yeah.
But it was the right thing to not put her through any more pain.
Yeah.
So, that was hard.
Yeah.
So I'm now, for the first time in God knows how many years, 15, 16 years, dog-free, which just feels really weird to me and not natural. But as we were talking earlier, like it's just a little bit of putting myself first for a minute.
Yes.
But I dog sit my son's dog once a week. I look after friends' dogs. So I'm still kind of like a dog foster mum for people that need dog help.
Yeah.
I'm a dog mum.
It's going to patch over the time between maybe getting another dog, but you're not ready. You've gone through a massive ordeal. And that's part of what I wanted to highlight to people. When you get pets that have chronic illnesses, we don't give up on them.
No.
As long as they're happy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's one thing I promised you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I said, I will help you make the decision.
You did.
And I'll tell you when we're going too far.
Yeah.
Because we can go too far.
Yeah.
And they can be in pain all of the time, but because they love us, they hide that from us and they do their best for us every day. And they're like, I'm fine, Mummy, I love you, I love you, I love you. But actually they're in pain. And I promised you that I would tell you when that time was.
Yeah.
Because how can you know when you're in it? You were, Mel, you were exhausted.
Yeah.
I could see you were emotionally just
wrung out.
Yeah. You had lost your dad.
Yeah.
You had
lost Wilson.
I'll say lost your husband, but congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, probably the best loss of all.
That was probably the highlight.
Yeah, that was a happy moment.
Although you had to go through a divorce. And then there you were, just you and Harper.
Yeah. And also from lifting
in
her in
your
and out
house.
of a crate and the car, my back had given up on me. So I was having
medical
chiropractor.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't spending anywhere near on myself what I was spending on Harper, but she was worth it.
Yeah.
She was so worth it.
And I sort of saw both you and Harper fizzling down at the same time.
Yeah, we were tired.
It's one of the things I go back on. There's some certain cases in your career that you go back and you're like, did I do the right thing? Could I have done it better? Was it my mistakes? And Harper's probably going to be one of those ones for me that I look at for my entire life, because I loved you so much and I loved Harper so much. And I just thought, of all the ones I wanted to fix, please let it be her.
But what I'm grateful for is, and I've thought about this a lot since losing Harper. If you were a vet that was only interested in the money, you would have said, let's operate again, because you would have got more money out of it. And you said that was an option, but you wouldn't take that option as her vet. You didn't think it was the right thing for her. And I appreciated that it wasn't about the money for you.
Absolutely.
It was about her well-being, my well-being. Yeah. And you saw at that point, they've kind of reached the end. They can't do this anymore. It's not sustainable as it is. And I would always appreciate you for that, because you could have just kept taking my money and I would have kept giving it to
You could have traded on the Twin Towers.
I could have traded
We're
on
not
the
those
Twin
people.
Towers. We're not. I know you're not.
No.
And I'll always appreciate that about you. And that's something that I don't think all vets would do. The money makers would just keep taking my money and keep putting her through unnecessary torture. Because for the end of the day, it was hard on her. It was really hard. You know, we'd walk in the park and she'd take 15, 20 steps, and then she'd sit down and look at me like, "Oh, I can't do this." And I'd have to lift her back into a buggy. And what ended up being my life for the 4 or 5 months that I had her on my own is I'd spend at least 4 hours a day out in her buggy with her, just to give her different senses and different experiences, just to keep her entertained, because the rest of the time she was stuck on her bed, you
Yeah.
know, barely able to move.
Yeah.
So my work was starting to suffer because I wasn't putting the time into work, because I was
Yes.
concentrating on keeping her happy.
I think I remember you saying that you had lost a contract,
Yes.
which is obviously so important to you.
I lost a client because I was so busy looking after her.
Yeah.
I wasn't putting into that
Yeah.
client.
And then how are you going to pay for her? Because I know you had a good
Exactly.
insurance, but we did run out and you had to dig deep into your pockets
Yeah.
for her, because her medication bill alone.
I was spending
Was
£500
huge.
a month on physio and medication.
Yeah.
That was after the surgeries. So,
Yeah.
you know, just to not be paying that every month, you kind of go, wow, you realise how much you were spending after the event.
Yeah.
The hardest thing was actually getting rid of all of her stuff when she died. And what I did was I took all her beds to a dog charity, and I gave her toys to my son's dog, who's been cursing me ever since. Not a squeaky toys that are driving him nuts. And I just had to clear the house of her because it was just too heartbreaking. I still find her hairs to this day.
Oh.
You know, even like 5 months later, I'm still finding hairs in places that I didn't realise there could be hairs, or clothes that I haven't worn since I've had her, because I'm not wearing dog clothes as much anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that dog clothes thing, you just wear any old shit.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Absolutely.
Not doing that anymore. So I keep finding the occasional dog hair when I'm putting on clothes to clean the house. And I go,
Yeah.
oh. And I have to go and put it in the bin, because I know if I leave it in the house, it would just upset me too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But I've stopped crying every day. You know, I'd say for the first month after she died, I just woke up and just burst into tears every morning.
Yeah.
I just literally couldn't get myself together. It was as hard as losing my dad, I have to say, because it was
Yeah.
before her time. She was only 8, and I thought I had more time with her. And I bought my
Yes.
bloody house for her
Yes,
in
you
an
did.
area that I didn't want to move to.
Yes.
But because it was a bungalow and it was in my price range,
Yeah.
I thought everything's on one level for Harper. There's no step into the garden. It's a flat, square garden. She can't get into any trouble. There are no holes anywhere. Because you have to think about all those things as well. You know, if I walked her anywhere, I'd be like a radar ahead of her, trying to see if there were any pits that she could fall into and do damage to her legs.
This is exhausting.
It
So
was
what
constant.
you want to go on a walk as a something to look after yourself and to feel good
But
and
you
to
can't-
rest
it
your
was-
brain, but
you
actually
can't.
you're on high alert.
Yeah, you're on high alert all the time.
Sounds like when I take my son out for a walk. I have to watch everything he does.
Exactly.
It's not relaxing.
Exactly, not
It's
relaxing.
no, he's usually up a tree. At least Harper couldn't get up a tree.
She would have done if she could have done,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I imagine the both of them would be up trees
Exactly,
together.
together.
Yeah. So I just think it's amazing how you changed your entire life.
She
for
was worth it.
Harper.
She was worth
What
it.
an amazing dog mum you are.
Oh, she was an
Any
amazing
dogs
dog.
listening to this podcast are going to be like,
I'll look after you.
can I go stay with Auntie Mel?
Honestly, my best friend Mel actually says to me when I look after her dog, because she's having chemo at the moment, I'll have her dog every now and then. And I had a dog for the last couple of days, and I was driving her back to the station yesterday, and it was an early start. We left at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I knew he hadn't peed or pooped, and she had quite a long journey. So on the way there, she's obviously quite tired because she's been in the
Yes.
hospital the day before. And we stopped. I said, I'm just going to stop at this park so I can give Baxter his pee and poop. And she just turned to me and she went, "You are just the best dog, Mum." And I was like, yeah.
Oh, you are.
So, yeah. And then I went and saw another friend yesterday who has 6 dogs. And I just sat and snuggled. And
Yeah.
I just missed that. I missed that.
Yeah.
What you get out of it. I mean, yes, I was on high alert and it was hard work with Harper, but the love I got out of it was worth every ounce of stress, every penny that I paid.
Yeah.
Just the way she looked at me was the joy in my life.
Yeah.
She just brought me so much happiness. And she also got me through that breakup with my awful ex-husband. She got me through that.
Yeah.
She really did. And I felt it was like her and I against the world.
Yeah.
We moved into this house and there are boxes everywhere and just me and Harper and a mattress on the floor. And I was
Yeah.
like, come on then, Harps, we got
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
sadly, I didn't have her for long enough to enjoy the benefits of where I am now. And I'd found all these amazing parks near us that I could take her to, and obviously vetted them to make sure they were good walking for her, good places for me to walk a buggy, because of course in the buggy with a dog that was nearly 30 kilos, that's quite a workout. And actually I've put on 2 stones as I've lost her because I'm not pushing the buggy up a hill.
So she was worth it.
Oh, she was.
She had those eyes, didn't she, that looked into your soul. I
my soul.
remember her looking at me, and I just thought, oh my God, she's looking straight at my soul.
I know.
She can see my innermost thoughts.
I know.
And she knows.
She really could. She was just so special. They both were. And, you know, losing both of them within 6 months of each other was brutal, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
But now I've gone, okay, I'm dog free at the moment. I definitely have another dog in me for sure. But just this year is going to be about having a holiday.
Yes,
drinking
please.
cocktails, dribbling into a sunbed.
Maybe we could have a spa day.
Let's do a spa
Let's
day.
do a spa day.
You, me and Cal.
Yeah, and some alcohol maybe.
Oh,
day drinking. I really like day drinking.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
When you've got no responsibilities, it's the best.
So when I don't know if I've told you this, you've met my absolutely bonkers dog now, Phoenix, that I've got.
Phoenix.
Before her, I had 2 other Akitas that were way better behaved than her, by the way. Very lovely, best dogs ever. And one of them was called Bellini, after the cocktail.
Of course.
And the other one was called Sushi, after the food. Yes. Sushi got a GDV, a twisted stomach, when he was only, I think he was about 7 years old, which is not old enough to lose a dog.
Is that when you lost him?
Yes.
Oh, God.
So the same is similar. I didn't have the chronic illness and that chronic exhaustion. It was very quick and sudden. And
But a shock.
Yes, I was in bits. I was in absolute bits. I operated on him because at that point, felt I was the best surgeon, because surgery is my thing. I felt I was the best surgeon. I also didn't want to put the responsibility of that onto my colleagues, that it's such a high-risk surgery. He made it through the surgery, and I euthanized him 2 days later because he was septic.
That must have been so hard for you.
Yes, I couldn't make the decision myself. I called my best friend, who's a medicine specialist, and I made her drive down to come and see him and make the decision for me.
Why was it only 2 days after the surgery?
He wasn't improving, so I wanted to try. And actually, it's really common with twisted stomachs, or something people don't know. We can get them through the surgery, but the damage done from the torsion is there. You can't repair it. The blood vessels are damaged. The linings dying. They go septic.
Oh.
So you actually lose them in the post-operative period.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So some of them do survive. But
So
again,
you
it's
couldn't
like
have
a
given it
50-50. He was going downhill.
Was he?
Yeah. I potentially would have given it longer. I needed someone to make the decision for me. And she said, do this test, this test. There's no hope. Let him go.
Wow.
So I remember feeling, first there was a shock because I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's better being prepared with a long-term illness or
I think shock is shock.
Shock is shock. But I remember one of the things that was the worst thing for me was I felt cheated out of his lifespan.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. And we don't, it's not something we talk about very often, but you expect this many years from them.
You expect about 12, 13 years.
And then you get it halved or just over half and you feel cheated.
Yeah.
And I remember that is the feeling that stayed with me for years.
I think that will stay with me with Harper over losing Wilson, because Wilson was 13 and a half, so he'd had his time.
He had his life.
He had his life where I'd planned through the breakup and moving home and having the home that suited her. I remember I'd lay in bed with her in the evening and think, right, when she's better, I'm going to rent a camper van and I'm going to take her on holiday all over England and we're going to go to some. So that was my plan.
You had a plan.
So I had a plan for us to do this holiday together.
Yeah.
And of course, I never got to do that because she was never well enough. And as you know, when she died, she still had open wounds from the surgery from a year before. So it just, was it a year before? Yeah, it probably was a year before.
Sometimes they healed and sometimes they came back.
Oh, God.
We'd get there and we'd think, yes, we've got there. And then a new one would come.
A new one would poke through.
Yeah.
It was just heartbreaking. So I didn't get to do the things that I thought I was going to do. And I think you're right, the shock and just feeling robbed of that time, because I was expecting to have her for at least 3 or 4 years. That's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
I thought we've got through the worst. We've done the surgeries. She at least walks a few steps. I'm going to take her on a holiday when she can walk a bit further and we're going to go to beaches and stuff. And I wanted to do all this stuff with her we just never got to do.
Yeah.
She loved the beach, and so did Wilson. They loved the beach. I used to take them down to the beach. I used to drive 100 miles just to take them for a beach day because I just knew they loved it so much. So I definitely feel robbed. And, you know, even my mum fell in love with her, and she was just like, I just feel so sad that you don't have her anymore, because she was
Yeah.
just such a lovely animal, and she just was so grateful for anything,
Yeah.
any bit of love. She was just so grateful,
Yeah.
but she did love her food, and that was a problem, trying to get that weight
She
off, as
did
you
love her
know.
food. Remember when she stole the carbonara?
Oh my God.
Yeah, your husband dobbed on you about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He was always dobbing on
He
me.
was a bit of a wanker, wasn't
He
he?
was a real wanker.
Didn't like him.
No, I know you didn't.
I
I didn't like him
I
either.
couldn't decide when to tell you, but when you told me he was divorcing, I just said congratulations,
I
didn't
remember.
I?
Yes, you did. Best thing I ever did. That was the best thing that
Yeah.
happened last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think she missed him either. It was
I
all
don't
about
think she
me.
missed him.
It was always all about me anyway. I
I
was
hope
her
he
main
watches
person.
this.
I hope he watches this.
We're not all man hating.
Yeah, no,
Just
we're not
him.
all men. Yeah, just him, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other one I had was Bellini. She died when she was older, but I euthanized her.
Again.
Yes. And I wasn't sure if I should. And that was the hardest decision. But it helps me to help other people going through it myself. So she was a euthanasia. That I think was the correct decision. Bellini, I don't know if it was the correct decision.
Why?
She was skin and bones. She could barely move anymore.
Right.
She was skeletal. She had degenerative myelopathy, so her spine was dying.
Right.
Um,
How old was she?
she was old, so she was 13, I think.
Oh, well, then you did the right thing.
That's the thing. But sometimes I think, so what if she couldn't walk? Maybe she was still happy. She's still eating her food. She didn't get up to greet me when I come in the room anymore. My fear was I'm going to walk in one day and she's collapsed and she can't get up. And I didn't want that
see
to happen
that,
for
yeah.
her. And I thought, if she goes today, I'll suffer. But if she goes when she can't get up and she can't do this and that, we both suffer.
Yeah.
And I didn't want her to suffer.
Yeah. I think you did the right thing.
Yeah. It'll still, I think when I'm logical, I think I've done the right thing. But sometimes there's always going to be a doubt because you don't know what was going to happen when. Who knows? And maybe I did that. I had just had this feeling come over me. I was actually in work and I just said to Callum's one of my best friends. He's a veterinary nurse.
We love Cal.
We love him. He's the best.
Love you, Cal.
I just said to him, we need to go to my house now and euthanize Bellini. Just out of nowhere.
Really?
Just had this feeling we need to do it now. And he said, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to rent a car and I'm going to follow you because I'm going to bring her back to the clinic.
Oh,
Or to the crematorium. Yes, so we did that and the decision was made and it was done and it was a snap decision. But off a gut instinct, I just think maybe I was going to come home the next day and she wouldn't get up.
But you know, as a vet, she had degenerative issues with her spine. You know, unless she had surgery, that wasn't going to improve at 13.
No, even surgery couldn't have fixed it.
No, exactly.
Nothing was gonna.
Your gut was, you were doing the right thing for her. It wasn't the right thing for you.
Yeah.
But it was the right thing for her.
And that's the decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like losing Harper wasn't the right thing for me, but it was the right thing for her. And you have to put your emotions and your feelings, so they can't tell you.
Yeah.
And she did have it till she was 13.
Yeah.
So I think you did. I mean, from what I know, from you telling me, you did the right thing. But
it's the decision guilt.
Yeah. I have the decision guilt over Harper.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the things that I try to take off of people.
Yes.
Is the decision guilt.
Yeah.
So we are actually taught in vet school, and then you go out and you're taught by older vets that you can't make the decision for people.
Yeah.
That you should give options A, B, and C. My new grads that come to me and my vets, I say, that's absolute shit. That's crap. You are the ones with the medical information.
Yeah.
You are the ones with the experience.
Yeah.
And you know what's right for that dog
Yeah.
or cat or budgie or
Yeah.
hamster
Yeah.
or whatever it is. Actually, you need to make the decision for them.
Yeah.
And you need to say, no, obviously you don't put your views on someone, but you say, this is what I believe is the correct thing to do.
Which you did.
Because of
with
X, Y,
Harper.
Z.
Yeah.
If you do strongly feel you don't want to, these are the other options. I think that's the right way to be a vet.
And I remember actually texting you after Harper several times over the 2 or 3 days afterwards saying, did we do the right thing? I feel like I did it too soon. And you reassured me that it was the right thing to do. And even on the day that we did it, you know, you said, these are our two options. We can either operate or we can do this. And of course, you didn't go down the money route. You went down the emotionally and morally right route. But then I had that guilt afterwards. And I remember I kept texting you and saying, did I do the right thing? Was it too soon? And you really reassured me and put my mind at ease that I had done the right thing for her. But as I say, it wasn't the right thing for me because I then suffered that horrible loss. But that was
Yeah.
really reassuring to have that. And I think that's where I just wish I had animals so I could see you more because I love you.
I
But
did miss you, you know. I said this
miss
is the worst
you.
thing about letting not the worst thing. The worst thing is losing Harper, but also I was seeing you every
know.
week.
I
I didn't
know.
get to see
I
you.
then came and saw you for a cup of coffee
With
because
a
I just missed
coffee.
you
It
so.
was
I missed you
lovely.
so much, and we talked about doing this.
Yes.
This is where
This is
idea.
actually where this was born.
Yes,
Me and
over
you.
a coffee.
Yeah,
It was.
over a coffee.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did this, not her.
She did. Oh, thank you so much for sharing the story. I think it's going to help other people
I hope
that
so.
have to go through this. So, any top tips for caring for a dog with mobility issues?
Get a Jack Russell.
Get a Jack Russell. Just get a Jack Russell.
I would say top tips is bed in. Don't make arrangements to go out and do anything fun. Focus on your dog because you're in it for the long haul. Sleep downstairs. Be near them. Be present. Entertain them as much as you can. I learned to play games with Harper in her crate. Like we used to do lay down catch where she would just lay down and I'd just throw the ball like 2 feet. So try and find things to do to entertain them. Give them lots of love, lots of encouragement, tell them how well they're doing. Just that's all you can do. And just find a fabulous vet like you where you have that, because it doesn't feel like that. Oh, give me that $5 later. No, but it didn't feel like, right, time to go to the vets now. And it was all very official. It was like seeing your friends, you know, so half the time we did Harper's kind of like consultancy in the reception.
Yeah.
So we could all hang out together.
And then very inappropriate.
I love that about you.
I think that's okay to be. I want to break down that wall between vets and their clients.
You definitely have. You definitely, because I think sometimes we can hold vets slightly in awe of, you know, we have our pets and these people are the ones that can, but you broke down that barrier. It was like seeing your friend who's going to help me with my dog.
And I don't want you to be fearful to say what you want to say.
Exactly.
Or to argue with me. If I say something you don't want to do, I want you to have the confidence to say, hell no.
No, you are that person.
Yeah.
And you drop the odd F-bomb in there, which is always kind of like makes you feel like really relaxed.
I do swear, it's very naughty.
I know, potty mouth.
Yeah.
I've got potty mouth too.
We've said much worse to each other.
Oh my God. Off air, we've done a lot worse and said a lot worse. And actually, we need to go out and get drunk together is the next thing we need to do.
Yes, on the list.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
good.
Definitely.
I hope so.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're so welcome, my darling. Love you. You're the best.
It's a wrap.
How was that?
Great.
Brilliant.
I knew we'd yap.
Yeah. It's true, though. I do love you. And,
I love you
and
too.
all the things that I said are true. I'm only speaking the truth. I wouldn't lie on camera. That went well.
Yeah, it was good.